Good morning, clubbers, and of course, welcome to yet another edition of the Wake Up Club. It's a fantastic Tuesday, terrific Tuesday in the Isle of Spice. It's the beginning of a brand new month, April 1st. And April 1st has significance. You know, as a child, I hated today. I hated today because today is also known as April Fool's Day. And as a child growing up, I would never remember that, and I would always bear the brunt of practical jokes and hoaxes. Now, you can't try that with me now, eh? But, you know, I like traditions because I like the significance of traditions. I like the fact that April Fool's Day is a stress reliever. It also encourages people to be creative and witty, you know, all in good fun. So it is a terrific Tuesday in the Isle of Spice, April Fool's Day. Look out for those people that are trying to fool you today. You know, don't fall for it, you know. And if you're going to try it, be creative and be really witty in your attempts to fool people today. Listen, you know, as I always say, you know, gratitude, we begin every day with gratitude. What am I grateful for this morning? I am grateful for great weather. I'm grateful for the breath of life. I am grateful that I still live in a very peaceful country. I'm grateful for my family and friends. I am grateful for opportunities like this one where I'm able to chat and, you know, with you and to share different aspects of things happening in Grenada, on the island of Carriacou, because today, of course, we're diving into Carriacou and Petit Martinique. We'll be chatting with Deanne Isaac. She is the Public Relations Officer within the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs. And of course, we're going to be getting an update on all things Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So we have a fantastic show in store. I want to thank you for joining us on the Ride Along Network. Clubbers, I appreciate you. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive straight into all things Carriacou and Petit Martinique. We'll be right back.
Looking for the ultimate island experience? Hop on the Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tour and explore Grenada like never before. Feel the tropical breeze, sip on authentic Caribbean rum punch, and cruise through Grenada's stunning scenery in our unique and fun tuk-tuks. It's the perfect blend of adventure and island flavor. Book your unforgettable tour now at ride.gd or call 473-422-1011. Don't just see Grenada, experience it with Ride Tuk Tuk Rum Punch Tours today.
Welcome back, clubbers. And before I jump into a conversation with, of course, Deanne Isaac, I want to shout out some of our clubbers who are here every Tuesday and Friday loyally. I want to shout out Brenda S. McNeely Julian. I want to shout out Joanne Brafford Batson, Carla Clement, and Rhonda Spencer Thumb. Listen, I appreciate you. I know you have options, as I always say, and I'm really happy that you've chosen to join us on the Wake Up Club. This morning, of course, we'll be discussing updates, what happening in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. You know, I hear the good, I hear the bad, and I hear the ugly. But as someone who will have experienced Hurricane Ivan myself, I know it took me over 2 years to get back on my feet. So sometimes we just have to practice a little patience, but I know a lot is happening. And of course, I am excited to chat with my girl, Deanne Isaac, on what's happening on the sister isles of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Deanne, welcome to the Wake Up Club. We're not hearing you, Deanne.
Okay. Good morning, Kirk, and good morning to the viewers of the Wake Up Club. Once again, thank you for the opportunity to update the general public as to what is happening in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, especially post-Hurricane Beryl.
Okay.
As you highlighted,
Deanne, you're no stranger to the Wake Up Club, and we appreciate you because, you know, often, you know, we don't know what's going on, and I think it's important for us to know what's happening right next door. You know, sometimes we only see what the media covers when they cover it. So I'm always happy to have this conversation with you. So I'm going to begin by asking you, of course, give us an update as to what's happening in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. What are the current projects happening right now within the rebuilding process?
Okay, a number of activities are presently taking
Deanne?
place that are being done by the Ministry of Project Pristine, which is the project that looks after the cleanup of the both islands with our hurricane-derived debris, is almost on the wrapping up phase. 3 of our 4 playing fields that were utilized as dumping sites have now been totally cleared of hurricane-derived debris. They are the Mount Pleasant playing field, the Dover playing field, and one of our main sporting facilities, the Hillsborough Recreational Grounds. So at this point, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to the residents of Carriacou and Petit Martinique for their patience and their understanding as we embarked on the cleaning up and clearing of our playing fields. It was a major concern over the past 9 months, but as we said before, we did not have many spaces to gather the hurricane derived debris. It was a lot. So we had to utilize the open spaces that we had. And yes, we had complaints from residents. We had to put out a notice to ask them for their patience and understanding, especially as we got into the dry season. The amount of dust from the trucks, from the excavator that was used, it was quite a lot. And we want to say thank you to the staff and members of the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority. They played a major role and continue to play a major role in this part of the cleanup efforts. So it's just the Harveyville playing field at present that is being utilized for the major collection of the hurricane-derived debris, and also the utilizing a baler to bale the galvanized that has to be shipped out. So once again, thank you to all the residents of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Thank you to the teams that came over from Grenada to actually help us in the cleanup efforts over the past few months, very much as residents of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So that is Project Pristine. But before we get into some of the more positive,
I just want to stop you one moment. I know that's just Project Christine, but the question to me, what is happening with the debris? You say it's being baled up and shipped to Trinidad. Can you just explain that for me
okay,
before you
the
go to the other question?
galvanized, only the galvanized that are actually being built up to be shipped out because it can be recycled. The other
Okay.
things like the wood, the trees, because we had a lot of big trees falling down.
Mm-hmm.
That we the government of Grenada through Solid Waste Management Authority purchased a number of equipment. So one of the equipment was a composting machine, if,
Okay.
and so the wood was actually crushed, and those the crushed wood was taken to the Dumfries landfill. So only the galvanized that will be shipped out of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Petit Martinique also, I must say, is totally cleaned of hurricane-derived debris. But Kirk,
Mm-hmm.
there is a concerning matter for us in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. We
Okay.
are
Tell us.
seeing the illegal and indiscriminate dumping of materials. As persons continue to rebuild, we are
Mm-hmm.
seeing a constant happening. We're seeing it on our airport roads. We are seeing it in the Harveyville community. We are seeing it in Bossejou, the Hillsborough area, close to the Hillsborough Government School. Government is now spending over $200,000 to have the area by the Hillsborough Government School cleaned up. We even seen illegal dumping happening at our tourist attraction sites. We are
Oh
again
no.
begging and pleading to our people, our truckers, our homeowners, even our homeowners are actually taking their garbage, their regular household garbage, tie it in the garbage bags and dumping it close to our school. our Hillsborough Government School. That is not right at all. We are cleaning up Carriacou and Petit after a major hurricane. Government has spent millions of dollars for the cleanup efforts to help our people. And sometimes people get mad because I say, if we had taken the responsibility as a people to clean up for ourselves, yes, we were in shock, yes, we were depressed, but if we had taken some time to clean up for ourselves, some of the monies that was spent on the cleanup efforts could have gone into housing, agriculture, some major sector areas. And sometimes we want to always give the positive news, but sometimes we have to tell people about the negative that are happening on our island. So again and again, I am begging our truckers, especially, you are being paid by homeowners to take away their rubbles from when they break down their house, whatever. We are being paid by the contractors to remove the rubble from the construction site, the garbage from the construction site. There's a landfill at Dumfries. It is available for our waste collection. Kindly utilize the landfill for us, please. I am not happy as a resident of Karakwam Pitimatnik and as a staff of the Ministry of Karakwam Pitimatnik to be speaking on this issue. We would like to see a change in our practices as the residents of Karakwam Pitimatnik because we are depending on people. We continue to ask for partnership. But if people see us doing this kind of activities, what is the image are we sending out for the diaspora, the people in the region that we are asking to continually assist us? So that's on
True.
the issue of our cleanup efforts. So we are almost completed when it comes to that. Big up to the staff from the Solid Waste Management Authority. Project Pristine was able to provide employment for a number of young people, and we are happy for that. However, as I like to say, housing remains the major concern for Karakwam Pitimati. Kirk,
Mhm.
I continue to walk the streets, I continue to visit the communities. The Ministry of Karakou and Pitimatnik Affairs has been doing an excellent job when it comes to assisting with the housing issue on Karakou and Pitimatnik. We have Project Build Back Better. I know that a lot is being said. The plan
Mhm.
was to have 50 homes being completed at the end of last year. We were unable to make reach that milestone. However,
Mhm.
we were able from the end of last year into January, February to deliver about seven. However, while we have only been able to officially hand over seven of the Build Back Better houses, we have 45 under construction. And
Okay.
yesterday, we had, from my following up, we have at least another five or so that we can officially hand over to the homeowners. And more Build Back Better homes will definitely be built during this year. We also have a project under the Division of Social Development for the persons who we consider vulnerable. I hate to say that word, but it is what it is. But persons who may not be able to rebuild their homes for themselves. So the Division of Social Development has a special project. So far, they've completed 18 of those projects. And I am happy here to say that on a few weeks ago in the month of February, I happened to go to cover to provide media coverage for Windward Aid, who did a partnership with Mount Pure Water, where they're providing 100, almost 100 bottles of 5 gallons water to
Mhm.
homes in Karakou and Pitimatnik every 2 weeks for the next 6 months. Before that, I never heard about Windward Aid. So
Okay.
and then I used that opportunity cup to reach out to them. I came back to office, went on their website and researched what they were about. And then they have a page where you can actually contact them and things like that. So I did that on behalf of the Division of Social Development because one of the things that was noted is that the homes were being delivered. And I questioned, I said, no, we can't be giving these vulnerable people these homes. And I visited one and she's sleeping on the floor. So I said, no, as a ministry, as a government, we cannot do that. It is not right. So I reached out to Windward Aid and I developed a proposal for furnishings for those homes. Cock, within 24 hours,
But wait a minute. So Windward Aid was not operating in partnership with you guys.
I should not say that, but I
Uh-huh.
understand they were working through NADMA before.
Okay, all right, okay.
Because it's a UK based charity. But for me, from the ministry, I never heard about them. But they formed immediately after Hurricane Beryl and came into Carriacou and started to work. They did some initiatives early up, like generators and stuff, from what I was told.
Mm-hmm.
So within 24 hours, they responded positively to that proposal.
Great.
And in the
Mm-hmm.
first instance, they've committed $40,000 towards assisting with the furnishings for the persons benefiting under the Division of Social Development. And last week, we had a lovely handing over ceremony that included refrigerators, stoves, sofas, beds, pot sets, cutlery. And I want to say on behalf of the government of Grenada, the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, thank you very, very much to Windward Aid. And they're also supporting our schools because we're in the dry season and water is still a
Water.
challenge for us. So they are supporting our schools. They are providing water on a weekly basis to all the schools and daycares on Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So thank you very much, Windward Aid. That is the kind of partnership, Kirk, we're still seeking, we still like for the rebuilding of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. It is a
Yeah, well,
work in
yeah,
progress.
I see Mount Pure has really stepped up to the plate and they're making sure that they have that water drive. So I definitely want to commend all the people at Mount Pure for this initiative.
Yes, Montpellier as well. So because they have a nice partnership with Windward Aid. So even after the ceremony, straight away the persons from Windward Aid asked, what do you need again? And I was able up to yesterday to send them that list so that they can do another shipment for us. So that is the kind of partnership we would like. So in terms of housing again, we have Happy Homes runs in Carriacou at the new Dumfries housing site. And they are at the moment installing the two-bedroom prefabricated houses that was purchased by the government of Grenada. They did the first six, which were two-bedroom houses, but then they also have on the port in Grenada the three-bedroom houses to come to Carriacou. I am not certain. I'm still waiting for clarification as to what will be happening with Petit Martinique, but I know the government through the ministry again is taking a special look at Petit Martinique in terms of housing support. We do have some Build Back Better homes being built presently in Petit Martinique, at least five. The government
Mhm.
is looking at getting a special contractor to go over to Petit Martinique because we have challenges with transportation. We still have challenges with building materials. Ever so often you're hearing about shortages. So from the ministry end, we're trying our best to ensure that the people from Petit Martinique, because they had a bad blow from Hurricane Beryl. When I visited in the month of February, and I'm scheduled to do another visit. I said it was my first visit because as I said, I have a while to go to Petit Martinique. I had to build that courage. But the PR team was always going over. But I went over myself, and when I saw what's happening, my heart goes out to the people of Petit Martinique. And we also continue to look at connectivity to people. We heard about the comments on what's happening with the Windward jetty. And I always like to say to people, even when you're building your own home, it is a process. It is not something that would just happen overnight. You have to ensure the funding is available. You have to ensure the contractor is available. You have to also ensure the contractors have workers suitable to do the job. So Windward Jetty, yes, the Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs did say that it was going to start in mid-December. However, we did have some delays But now I'm happy to say that that project is signed, approved, and ready to go in the next couple of weeks. So that the connectivity issue with Pitimatnik from Windward, which is a shorter journey for them, will commence very soon.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and I just wanted to interrupt you here because I know we're speaking about the projects and we have to talk about the challenges too, because you did mention one of the challenge in terms of people and their poor habits of disposal. But there are a lot of people who express concern because we listened to the budget last year, we listened to the budget this year, and quite a lot of money has been allocated to the rebuilding efforts. And there are those who still say that it's not happening fast enough. What do you say to that?
Kirk, as I say to people, the Ministry of Carriacou and Pitimatnik Affairs has been tasked with the rebuilding efforts for Carriacou and Pitimatnik. It is
Mhm.
not an easy work. We have to remember our own public officers. Myself, I am still not yet, I have still not yet started the main rebuilding of my home because
Okay.
since July 1st, what have we been doing? Coming out to work every day. Look at where I am at this morning. Before
Mhm.
5 o'clock, I had to leave my house to come to the ministry's building in Bosseju to be here to update the public. So it is not a walk in the park. We need
Okay.
to understand that with government, it is a process. We just had the release of the PDNA, which is the Post Disaster Needs Assessment, and that will help to guide how the rebuilding process actually goes in Carriacou and Pitimatnik, because all the details are in there as to how many houses were damaged in terms of the different sectors, what are the issues, and they give us some guide as to how we can go forward. The rebuilding of Carriacou and Pitimatnik requires a collaboration. And every time I get that opportunity to speak to our people, whether you are in Carriacou or Grenada, is that we we need to work together. It is not an easy thing to do a recovery of an island that was totally devastated by a category 4, category 5 hurricane within a couple hours. So
Okay, well,
yes,
Deanna, I have to ask you, sorry to interrupt, but I have to ask you, well, what would you say are the major challenges that you are facing, um, in, and how have they impacted the timeline of the reconstruction? Okay,
okay.
because it's easy for us to run our mouth and say things going too slow, or government has invested all this money. What's happening? There must be challenges.
The main challenges for us,
Mhm.
one I must say is the availability of contractors, because for one, a lot of our contractors are engaged in private work. The material supply and flow, as you know, we have had an issue with one of our major transport, which is in the boating sector, shipping sector, which is the Dolly Sea, that ran aground on the way back from being on docks in Trinidad. They are still stuck on the reef outside of Point Salines. So that is a major challenge now, and sometimes materials shortage and even laborers, as I continue to say. So some contractors, they have 5 projects on their hand. So they come to your project site today, and tomorrow, please God, you do not see them sometimes for 2, 3 weeks. I heard a situation yesterday where someone was simply waiting for the gutterings to go back on. We started to have little rains, and it's been months they have not seen that contractor. And even the cost of labor, Cook, continues to be a challenge. I would tell you that some of our contractors, even those who are coming from outside, are charging us some very, very expensive cost. And some people just cannot afford the labor cost. So while government did give some material support and will continue to give material support as soon as things are settled out, some people took it, but they cannot do anything because some contractors are asking for as much as $200 a day for a laborer. And we do not have that kind of monies to just pay somebody that, what I mean, on a daily basis to just get your work done. So again, we continue to ask for collaboration. If there are workers out there that can come in and help us with the rebuilding, we'll be totally grateful from a government standpoint. If there are persons out there, companies that can even help with material support, we'll be appreciative of that. Because some people keep saying about government and monies allocated. We have to understand that the budget for Carriacou and Petit Martini, given a general budget from a government or even to rebuild Carriacou and Petit Martini from the PDNA, it told us we need over 500 plus $1 million to rebuild Carriacou and Petit Martini and to rebuild better. It's not just rebuilding, to rebuild better. And that PDNA was done not by our local persons, but from the UNDP. So they came in and supported us to do that PDNA. It is a public document. We posted it on our ministry page. Other media houses posted it. So it is available for persons to read. So government cannot rebuild Carriacou and Petit Martinique alone. We need partnership. Yes, as an agency, as an government, we do from time to time write for aid on different levels, whether it is through our bilateral relationships with countries. We do from time to time. Any government will write for aid to support them in whatever efforts that they're having, because our local revenue cannot do it alone. And Carriacou Petit Martinique was 98% devastated by a Category 4 hurricane.
Okay, I've got to ask you that because you just mentioned aid. Now I know immediately after a Hurricane Beryl, aid was coming in left, right, and center. What is the situation now with aid?
Yesterday I was informed, when you speak about aid is different things, in
Mhm.
terms of food, in terms of water, in terms of clothing, and some building materials did come in from the people of Guyana. And we're forever grateful to the government and people of Guyana for how they reached out to us post Hurricane Beryl. The team came in, spent 3 months. So yesterday, I was informed that some form of aid came in. That's in terms of food stuff and clothing materials. So soon, NADMA will make an announcement as to where they will be doing the distribution. However, Kirk, the relief items can range from not just only food items, because most of our supermarkets are back up and running on Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Some businesses are up and running, so that is a positive. But there are many families that lost everything. As I continue to say, there is a need for bed sheets, towels, pot sets, and different household items to get people back where they once were. So it's not just about the food and the clothing items. We got a lot of that. We are very, very grateful. So the rebuilding of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, we still need aid. We still need the relief items, and we'll be grateful if persons can continue to support us with that. The Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs, by extension, the government of Grenada, is doing quite a bit, because at present, we've completed the Mount Pleasant in terms of education. We've completed the new building for the Mount Pleasant Government School. That work was done by Creative Do It Best. And I'm saying on behalf of the ministry how happy we are to see the type of work that was done by Creative Do It Best. They did a fantastic job on the Mount Pleasant Government School. So Mount Pleasant Government School is no longer under the tents. The only school that is under temporary structure is Dover Government School. And the government has made a commitment for the rebuilding of Dover Government School to commence this year. So it is one of the budgeted items on for the budget this year. So Dover Government School rebuilding will start in a couple of months. So, and in terms of all the schools, major works were done on all the schools in Carriacou and Petit Martinique to ensure that school restarted in about 1 month's time after it was carried to reopen in the new school term in September. Bishop's College had major works to be done. Hillsborough government, part of the roof went. Leicester, the entire roof had to replace. Similarly with Harveyvale Government School and P.T. Martinique. Work continues on the preschool in P.T. Martinique as well. So things are happening. And in terms of healthcare, Leicester and Windward medical stations are almost ready for reopening. As you know, the hospital has been in operation now for quite a few months. We've had the roof restored by Shelter Solutions. And we have to say thank you as well to the Carrico Medical Charity that came in and brought in a new maternity bed and EKG machine a couple weeks ago. So the partnership has to remain. And then work has now officially started on Mount Pleasant Clinic. So the healthcare sector is also being looked after. Um, as I said before, we have the issue of the water. Water is a major challenge outside of housing because a lot of people are yet to replace their roofs. So NAWASA did come in last week to have a consultation with us, and they're looking at short-term and medium-term measures to help us in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Well, not so much Petit Martinique, because Petit Martinique, their water system with NAWASA is excellent, and the majority of homes there have connection. But Carriacou NAWASA's system, distribution lines, are only available in the town and on the south. So we in the east and the north, and with many roofs being off, we have a lot of issues with water. But hopefully Nawasa will be able to help us out. And then we started to see little rains. It is sometimes disheartening because with the people on the taps still. However, we are grateful to God because I always like to say, without God, we are nothing. And in spite of the struggles that we continue to face in Carriacou and Petit Martinique, we have to be grateful because the government of Grenada, post Hurricane Beryl, did not sit by and say, okay, well, let each man fend for themselves. They started the Build Back Better project. Hands that self came in from Trinidad and Tobago, and Kirk, the people who received the prefabricated houses, the 27 prefabricated houses on the hands that serve, are presently staying in Dumfries and right across Carriacou. And
Yeah.
you see, well,
Yeah, but then I understand the rebuilding process, but of course, it takes time. I went through Hurricane Ivan, but recently I heard people complaining that there are a lot of people still under taps, as you call them, tapolin.
but as I said, the government did give material assistance to persons, and over 2,000 households came in and received the 15,000, material assistance under the program that the government did. Public officers got $25,000 for those who applied. But as I continue to say, is that we have the issue with labor. So
So,
if there are some kind labor contractors out there that can help us to come in,
mhm.
but I know some people said that the $15,000 cannot do much for them, but it's a start. You never know what might happen. We will continue to do our assessment, and as the
And
minister for
just remind me, how many people were recipients of, how many households were recipients of that 15,000?
from speaking to the permanent
Uh-huh.
secretary who is responsible for gathering the data, all I can say is that over 2,000 persons received the assistance. I will go back to the office and ask for the exact numbers and to present the proper data to the people because we are responsible to the general public.
So
The
the real
government did,
crisis then you would say is labor
yes,
to get it done.
the real price is labor, and still some people would require much more to get them off their feet.
Okay.
Because as we have to remember that persons lost their jobs. Many persons, because some people are working in the hotel sector, some people were working just in a shop. We had quite a number of people. We have Bullen supermarket that never reopened since Hurricane Beryl. So those are workers that are displaced or maybe looking for new employment. The reality is the reality, Cock. We are doing what we have to do from the ministry's end, but we need even the people of Carrick and Martinique to help us in the rebuilding
Well,
process.
you see,
It
I
cannot be.
wanted to jump in terms of community involvement. How is local community being involved in the building process? And are there opportunities for residents to volunteer and contribute to the recovery effort?
Kirk, I would love to say as a resident of Carrick and Martinique
Mhm.
that the community spirit is alive and well. But I cannot say that, Kirk.
Okay.
It will be hypocrite of me, president, and even though I'm here today in Carrickwan Pity Martinique, the ministry, the government, I would like for us to bring back that community spirit. Let us come together in the maroon style that we knew. I can tell persons, growing up, my life was not easy. When my mom and them built a second home in 1993, when I just started Form 1, Bishop's College, it was the church and the community that came together to help us and family members. So if we have that same spirit
Mhm.
today, after a major hurricane, we would be much better off. If we go to help our neighbors and our neighbors come and help us, we
Mhm.
can do much better as a people. And I will not sit by and give that pretty picture when that is not happening. And when people come on the ground, they would say, well, the public relations officers say all is well. But all is not well with our community spirit. Our people need to get up and help themselves and help each other. Let us do it. Another hurricane season is approaching. It's 2 months away. And we continue to hear the cries. Oh, the hurricane season is coming. I'm under tarpaulin. What is the ministry doing? The ministry gave us material support. The ministry also doing Build Back Better. The ministry on through the extension of the government of Grenada has also been giving us tax exemptions. The minute the government is not charging us property tax this year, the government is still saying that you can get your VAT relief. All you have to do is go into the best office located upstairs the Carriacou Multipurpose Center and apply for your VAT relief on building materials. So we need to get up and work hand in hands. I love to cook. So if my neighbor tells me that he's putting up his house tomorrow, please God, you can bet yourself Deanna Isaac will be there to help him. So that's all we need. Even our contractors, Cock, the cost of labor is killing us. And if they cannot do it for us, who will do it? How will we get the international partners to come to want to work with us if we are not helping ourselves? I'm telling you, I will not sit by and pretend that all is well in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. All is not well. Our people are wetting because the rains have started to come, but we also need to put on our boots, help our farmers. The rain is coming. We want to plant. The agriculture division did give some black tanks. We did give some fencing materials, but our farmers, they lost their homes too. So it is quite a burden on them to even start the refencing. The farmlands are in with overcrowded with bush. They need some help. I also reached out to Saul. I do not want to sing my praises, but I reached out to Saul a couple months ago and to ask for some farming implements, some small things like a fork, a hoe, and a cutlass. On Thursday, please God, we are looking to have an official handing over ceremony of those small implements for at least 40 small farmers on Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The reason for this being, when I went out, Cock, I like to go out. I like to just sometimes ask a driver, take me out, or I might just walk to go and see what is the reality on the ground. Our farmers, they need some more support. The Division of Agriculture is trying their best, but we notice with the 1,160 black tanks, that we gave out, not just to the farming population, but the general public of Carrick and Petit Martinique. Cock, they are sitting on the ground. 90% of the black tanks that the government of Grenada, through the Ministry of Carrick and Petit Martinique Affairs, that I, Diana Isaac, negotiated with Rotoplastics out of Trinidad, and they gave us 50% discount. They are sitting on the ground in Carrick and Petit Martinique. Is it that our people are unable to purchase the fitting materials? Maybe that is so. So maybe we need an intervention. Maybe they are unable to build the stands to put the black tank. So I'm begging again for some sort of intervention, because with the rainy season starting, I do not know what will happen for our farmers and for our households in terms of water collection. So maybe we need to go back out in the community to find out what is the real issue, that people came, collected the black tanks, and they're
And
still
nothing's
in the
happening.
ground.
Yeah.
So
Well, you
that's
see,
the reality.
Dean, I'm so glad that you're being candid with us, because I think sometimes we're not candid enough to understand that sometimes we are responsible for the situation that we find ourselves in. And I wanted to ask you, because you're doing a brilliant job. I always am updated with what's happening, but yet there are people who communicate, who complain about the communication. They say they don't know what's going on. Now, I know that's different. I've worked in buildings before, where as the PR and the marketing person, everything is on the notice or the bulletin board, but people choose to pay attention to what they want to pay attention to. What's your communication plan right now in terms of getting information to people? I know radio is a big tool. Can you share
Yes.
some of that first with us, please?
Well, we continue to use social media as a major platform through the ministry page. We continue to utilize our local radio stations, all the media houses. When we do our video recordings, we send everything through the Government Information Service. They produce it, and they also send it out to the main TV stations and radio stations. So while we sometimes do not do it on a daily basis, we always try to keep the people of Carrick and Petit Martinique, the diaspora, the people in the region, up to date. I use my personal phone
Mhm.
to update. As you know, Cock, my status mainly is focused on what's happening in Carrick and Petit Martinique.
True.
I have hundreds of contacts on my phone, and I gauge the viewership. So I don't know what more can we do. If there is some person with a brilliant idea who would like to help us change our communication strategy, I'm open for that. As I say to people, rebuilding Karakou Petit Martinique is not a ministry thing alone. So I'm always open for criticism. I am always open for opinions, for assistance. Any person out there, you want to assist us? Because sometimes, as I tell people, working in the public service is not an easy thing, you know. And for those of us with the experience, I would tell you, and Cock, you know that working in the public service is not a walk in the park. So at the end of the day, if you have any means of supporting us, we welcome it. You have a means, another idea as to how we can do the rebuilding of Carrick and Petit Martinique differently, we're open for it. We want partnership, we want collaboration. So I know there are many media PR experts out there. If they want to come and help me, I am grateful for that, because I am a one-man team. And then I want to highlight here who uses his personal camera on, sometimes it's just a phone call at a minute. He's there to help me capture for the ministry, the government of Grenada. And he's not compensated. Yes, he works with government, but he's not compensated for
Mhm.
using his personal equipment. And then we have Hunter, Drummond Adams from Sister Isle Radio, who is linked to the constituency office, who also assists me in gathering the photos and the content to ensure that people know. So I'm a one-man team at the PR department of the ministry. It has been
Yes,
like that for a
but
couple.
Deanne, you're doing a phenomenal job, I have to tell you. And from what I'm gathering, there are two major issues, okay? And to me, one is greater than the other. The first issue would be the lack of of labor and material.
Mhm.
But the issue that bugs me the most is, how do we get our people to get up and help themselves? And I do think about it, because sometimes I think it's bigger than just saying, oh, the people lazy. Maybe some people are still traumatized from the
Yes.
whole process, and maybe we need to find some help. I don't know if there's still people going around motivating people. I don't know, because it begs a question, and it's human nature. Okay, because some people sit and wait for everything to be handed to them, and it's handed to them, the materials have been handed to them. Over 2,000 homes received that $15,000 help, but I know some people lost more than that. So you can't
Yes.
put up a roof if you have no pillars and structures to put it up. you
Very much
know
so.
Stuff like the water tanks and so forth. And my biggest fear is that we're about to go into a new hurricane season.
Yes.
From your perspective, what would you suggest? How can we get our people to help themselves?
My thing is, I would say let us call some community meetings. The Minister of Affairs, Honorable Tevin Andrews, within the past few weeks, and today is actually going to the community of Belmont. He has been doing some walkabouts, community touching base, and will be having a meeting with the residents in Belmont. He did Mount Pleasant, Grand Bay recently. So I am hoping that will be a sort of inspiration for our people to see that the government is doing what they can to help us. The regional and international partners are also coming on board and have been on board helping us. So we're hoping that that will serve as a motivation. Um, Also, I immediately after Hurricane Beryl, even in recent times, the said Division of Social Development counseling sessions. The Ministry of Education supported us. The Ministry of Social Development Grenada also supported us. The Catholic Church also did their part. But I sometimes say to people, when you look back at what happened during Hurricane Beryl, it can take a toll on you. As I am not afraid to say, Hurricane Beryl took a toll on my 83-year-old mother. And I am a living example of what Hurricane Beryl did because I'm experiencing it every day. Moving to a new community, for me, I was able to make the adjustment. But for someone who all their lives knew that they have everything for themselves, you have to just think about that. So sometimes you hear these stories in the schools of children being unable to function. And I get emotional because these children sometimes are going home and they don't know what they're going to face. So these children ready for CXC. The principal had to actually call a meeting with the parents and guardians to see how they can get them to motivate so that they can do this the simple SBAs. And sometimes we do not take those little things into consideration. I asked the administrator at the hospital to get an idea as to what her staff is going through. Cook. It is heartbreaking when you see the number of public officers who are requesting homes. And I say to people, public officers are not just the people attached to the Ministry of Carrick Ethnic Affairs. We have our teachers, we have our nurses, and so forth. The list is long. The government cannot do it all alone. We need your support. We need your encouragement. Sometimes weeks, I'm at work. Nobody would ask you how you doing, how you coping. And I can face it. Sometimes, yes, I get emotional because it's just a lot to face. But there are the people who are walking this road every day and they do not know when their house will be restored because the government cannot do it alone. Let us come hands in hands. Even those of us who have families in the diaspora, even if it's to sponsor, come together and do it. We might say, oh, people are lazy. But you do not, do you understand the trauma of 2, 3 hours watching everything that you work for gone in the wind? I cannot find my galvanize. I do not know where it went. It must have gone into the sea. Think about the many others who might be in a lesser position than I am. They are the public officers who are grade A, grade B. Their salaries are just over $1,000. Do you think that they can rebuild? Do you think the government can rebuild for everybody? Let us work together. It is not an easy road. And I decided today I'm not coming here and just paint a pretty picture of what is happening in Carriacou Martinique. We have people like organizations like Super Yacht Charities,
Mhm.
Yacht Aid that also came in and did some temporary houses in Petit Martinique, kind of tent structure. And we're grateful for that. So we continue to ask our people to be patient. Let us work together. The government is us. The government is not the Ministry of Carriacou Petit Martinique or the Prime Minister down in Grenada and all the public officers. The government is all of us. Because when you pay your tax dollars, you want to see it being utilized properly. And at the same time, while we have to rebuild homes, we have our roads. Just today, yesterday, we're starting off 2 new road projects. One of the roads we actually started before Hurricane Beryl. So the materials were there. The drains had started. That is the Bossejou back road. So we cannot abandon the general responsibilities of government at the same time. So while we do that, we also started work on the upper end of the Bel Air Hospital Road. Bellevue South is almost nearing completion. Prospical is completed. So the public officers have not sat by idly. The amount of bills that the accounts division is processing every day, the public assistants continue to be paid on a monthly basis. We heard the announcement yesterday that they're going to be utilizing the card system. We have to thank World Food Program as well as Red Cross. So it's not that the government is not doing anything. The regular government programs continue to go ahead. People talk about insurance monies. Grenada received US $118 million in insurance monies that had to be split between different sectors: the agriculture sector, the environment, social development. Nawasa had to get, Grenlec had to get. So we could not, it cannot rebuild Carriacou Petit Martinique. And as I said, the PDNA is there as the official document. Let us get it and read it. It is $500+ million to rebuild Carriacou Petit Martinique. Yes, the government want to do more, but we cannot do more unless we help our people and we help ourselves as a people. So I continue to ask for that support, my dears. Thank you to all who have been coming to our aid, but we need more.
Yeah. Deanne, listen, I have to commend you because I am always informed with what's happening because you're constantly ensuring that you do your job. And I know it's emotional because I know you personally and I know the passion that you have. I know how enthusiastic you are. And I can also understand how it breaks you when you're trying to make people shake, you're trying to shake people and wake them up. You're doing a phenomenal job. I want to tell you that. Look, I bring you on the program this morning and I have you crying to the world. So my heart goes
I'm not,
out with
afraid, I'm
you.
not ashamed of that
Yeah,
because
and let me
Cochran,
tell
I
you something.
tell you,
You have support because people here are commending you. They understand the hard work that you're doing. Um, and we're almost out of time because you and I could talk forever. But I want to give
yes,
you the opportunity to really reach out to your people because I know we're talking about aid. We're still fighting to bring in as much aid as possible. We know the insurance money was just a drop in the bucket of what it takes to rebuild Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Let's not forget Petit Martinique. We
oh
know
yes,
the challenges that are there. We know we're about to enter into another hurricane season. We know about the labor challenges and the material challenges. But our biggest challenge right now is our people. So I want to give you the opportunity to, I don't want to say your last words, an opportunity to speak to your people in Carrick and Pity Martinique.
Thank you, Cock. To the people of Carrick and Pity Martinique, my people, our people, I am asking again for your patience. And while asking for your patience, I would also like to ask you for us to come together more as a community. The rebuilding of Carrick and Pity Martinique is dependent upon us. We cannot sit by and just allow the regional and international partners to come and do all the work. We have Caritas also helping us. We have another Christian group that is here, and people constantly coming to our aid. But we need to do our part. The government that I represent, the Ministry of Carrick and Pity Martinique that I represent, we will continue to give you the support. However, we need you to join hands in hands with us, build Carrick and Pity Martinique. Even while you're worried about what's going to happen or if anything is going to happen in the new hurricane season, let us not use that to daunt our spirits. Let us use that to build ourselves. Let us use that as a motivating factor to say we have to rebuild better. While Planning and Development Authority is going to ensure, and they have their teams on the ground working with us, we have to do our part. We need your support. While we continue to ask for the collaboration of our regional and I'm depending on you. You have my full support. You know that you can call me at any time. And whatever I can do from where I sit, I will do my best to help us in this recovery process. The public officers will continue to give the support. The Minister for Carrick and Pity Martinique, as he continues to work with you, he's coming to your villages. He's not sitting down in the office and wait for you to come all the time. He's on the ground with you. So let us work hands in hands. We need that collaboration. Call me. I'm always available. I'm at the office, as you see, before 6 o'clock this morning, and I will not get back home before 5 o'clock. So just bet yourself, I'm going to be out there. I have another meeting at 10 o'clock, another meeting with the CDB to discuss ways to assist Carrick and Pity Martinique. Following that, there's another 1 o'clock meeting. So we are not stopping. So that is to tell you, it shows we are committed to the cause. So all we need is you and you to work with us. It's a joining together. Let us change the attitudes today. The rebuilding of Carrick and Pity Martinique is not only on the government of Grenada. Thank you so very much for that support.
Deanne, I want to commend you. I want to make sure that that we see you, and I hope that the relevant people are also seeing and paying close attention to the efforts that you've been making throughout this entire ordeal to make sure that people are getting the information and knowing what it is they can do. I want to thank you for joining us on the Wake Up Club. You're no stranger here. You're actually family. Thank you for constantly reaching out so that we can give people the updates. And I think that this morning was particularly informative because I think we didn't sugarcoat it. The challenges are changing every day. And we're paying attention to those challenges, and I really hope that people will come together. I remember the days in during Hurricane Ivan where people came together as a group, and every weekend we went to help somebody, and it was a building process where we cook a pot of food and we do different things like that. So I really hope that people would have listened to this program. If you're in a position to help, please help. There's still a need for food, clothing, water, support where you can. Folks, I want to thank you for joining us on the Wake Up Club this morning. It's the 1st of April. It's the beginning of a brand new month, new opportunities, so much to be grateful for. I also want to remind you that it's April Fool's Day, so watch out for those people trying to trick you. I want to wish you guys a fantastic day. Sending you, Deanne, and the people of Carrick so much love and prayer. And of course, listen, guys, clubbers, I want to thank you for joining us. I appreciate the comments. Some of the comments I didn't direct to Deanne because, some of the things you raised, like, Chinese involvement and all of that. Eventually, we will get a chance where we can speak to the minister, and I'll be happy to share some of those comments and concerns with him. Again, folks, it's a terrific Tuesday. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on Friday. Deanne, take
Thank
care.
you so
Bye.
much. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, folk. Have a good one. Don't forget, it's April Fools. Bye.
You call me to it's the level, high the level, raise the level, up it, up it.
What if you had a choice? A choice of joining a line or a choice of making your purchases online? What would you choose? While you ponder on that, the National Lotteries Authority has provided another purchasing option. All their games are now available online. Yes, Grenadians! From wherever you are, purchase your favorite daily and jackpot type games using any electronic device. Register on the NLA's website at www.nla.gd. Top up your account and enjoy online lottery gaming at your convenience. We're taking shopping comfort up several notches. But the choice is yours. Join a line or buy online. NLA, make your dreams come true.
You call me to it's the level, high the level, raise the level, up it, up it.
Are you looking to take your business or event to the next level? Advertise on Ride Along Live and reach over 10 million viewers worldwide every month. With a global audience tuning in for the latest news, entertainment, and culture, your message will get the exposure it deserves. Don't miss the opportunity to showcase your brand to a diverse and engaged audience. Ride Along Live, where the world watches and your business grows. Contact us today to get